Hello, welcome to our channel. This is my green card story where we talk about everything EB2 NIW application. And today we are going to be moving a little bit from EB2 NIW and discussing another path to obtaining my green card or work authorization and being legally in the US. And today I have my guest who is going to talk about everything O1 visa with us. He's going to share with us his journey to getting the O1 visa and how that could be a very good alternative to for those of us waiting to get our green card in the United States. So, with that, I am so excited to welcome Abah O'Malley, Dr. O'Malley, to this channel. Welcome, Abah.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you
inviting me.
so
And
much for
yeah,
thank you so much for joining us and for agreeing to do this. So the O1 visa, not a lot of people know about the O1 visa, and you have been, opportune to go through that journey with your employer's help and obtain the O1 visa. So we're really grateful that you're sharing your experience with us today. So I think the best place to start from is your story. What's your journey like? And I am imagining that is going to also cover how you became eligible for the O1 visa. So what's your journey like, Dr. O'Malley?
yeah. So I guess you know we, for the purposes of this, you know, interview, we'll probably start with the bachelor's degree. So I have a bachelor's degree uh, in geology. So I'm a geologist by
Oh,
profession.
geology.
Yeah, I have a bachelor's degree in geology from Federal University of Technology, Akure, in Nigeria. And then I moved to the US some years after that degree to do for a master's degree at Louisiana State University in geology. And then after the master's, I did my PhD in geology, still at Louisiana State University. So
Great.
these years of experience studying geology up to the highest level of a PhD are kind of the foundation for allowing me to be able to apply for an O1 visa. Now, so I guess those are the platforms and the educational attainment that kind of put me in the space of meeting some of the requirements of, in short, being eligible for the O1 visa. So in there, doing in the bachelor's and the master's and the PhD, there were experiences that then allowed me to be more eligible for this O1 visa category at the time that I needed to apply for it. Yeah.
Okay, that is very interesting, Johnny. I must say, so with your PhD in geology, I am imagining you became like someone indispensable in a company or in a sector. I don't know if it's academia or whatever. And at some point you needed the O1 visa. Anyway, so can you take us through the journey of from when you had your PhD to needing your O1 visa? Because for our listeners, some of them might be maybe finishing their PhD or trying to use the O1 visa to even come into the United States. So tell us that part of your own story. Was it your OPT was ending, or what was it that made you
Right.
to pursue that avenue of O1 visa?
Yeah. So after my PhD, I got a job working in the energy industry. So the company
Yes.
I work for is traditionally an oil and gas company, but there were also the company is moving, just like many energy companies. They are trying to incorporate renewable energy, solar, wind. So we are like an LNG company, both doing a combination of oil and gas as well as other type of
Sources
you
of
know
energy.
yeah, and then carbon storage as well. So
Okay.
being in the energy industry, then having a PhD working in the energy industry, as a geologist, what I have spent my time doing is, so there is what I have done and then what there is the potential to do, right? So
Yeah.
if you are a geologist in the energy industry, we can start with exploration, right? So let's say you're focused on traditional oil and gas, then you are really solving complex geologic problems to find new oil and gas reserves, right? Uh,
Yeah.
that's a space. Exploration is what we call it. There's the production space where, as we have found oil and gas, appraised it
Okay.
as valuable, as a valuable resource and a reserve, then we've evaluated it, by integrating other disciplines that is commercially viable. Then as a geologist, you also work on the production aspect of it. So, how do we get this oil out of the ground, in terms of what is the implication of trying to get this oil out of the subsurface geology, that's down. And then we also work with planning to drill these wells that would then extract this oil and gas. So all of these are based on a level on complex solving complex geologic problems, and
Yeah.
there are different branches of geology. One of which is the branch of geology that my master's and PhD was focused on, that are
Okay.
very much more that are more applicable, you know, to the energy industry than some others. But typically, when you get a general geology knowledge, you can apply your skills across, so even if you studied something different, you can, with some time, apply across. But because I also had a master's and a PhD that studied processes and
Okay.
systems that are directly applicable to what the oil and gas industry uses, I was kind of in some on some level, I had some expertise already from my
Okay.
master's and PhD that can be directly applied in the pursuit or in the exploration and production of energy in the subsurface.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that is how my background kind of led me into this. Now, why did I have to apply for an O-1 visa? The reason is that I had filed my company had filed the H-1B for me 3 times, and the H-1B being a lottery, I was not selected those 3 times. So at the time,
Okay.
yeah, so at the time of applying for the O-1 visa, my STEM OPT extension was expiring. So as a STEM OPT student, I got the 1 year, and then I got the 24-month
Yeah.
extension. And so during
Yes.
the extension, I started looking towards the O1 visa because H1B had not worked 3 times, right? So as I was looking for options, this kind of came up, the O1 visa came up as an option. So, H1B is typically a simpler route than O1 visa because of the criteria that you need to do. But because the H1B didn't work for me, then I had to go for the O1. Uh, so I actually had to, in my journey, I had to stop work because between when I applied for the O1 visa and got it and received the approval notice, enough to be eligible to resume work, my OPT STEM extension had expired. So I had to be off work for about 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That was really, really clear. Thank you so much. And in there you told us what your expertise is, what makes you really indispensable to the company for them, to have gone through all that effort for you. So that was really detailed. Thank you so much. So going forward, I just wanted to ask you, you told us your story, beginning from you coming into the United States and, trying the H-1B route, then using the O-1 visa. So would you say that for someone coming into the United States with the O-1 visa, it might be similar? Because I know that you don't have to be in the US to use O-1 visa, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, I think the criteria is the same whether you are applying from within the US or not,
yeah,
right? So the O1 visa is for individuals with extraordinary ability in the sciences, education, business, or athletics. There's also a category for like artists and entertainers also.
okay.
But the O1A visa, so the O1 visa is O1A and O1B, right? I think
Yeah,
I don't know if yeah. So O1A and O1B. The O1A is for individuals with an extraordinary ability in the sciences, education, business, or athletics.
yeah.
So whether you are applying from within the US or from outside the United States, the criteria is the same that you would have to meet. Yeah. And
Okay.
I think the
So,
O1 visa is employer sponsored, so you wouldn't be able to sponsor yourself for that. Yeah.
perfect. Okay, so I like how you're just directing us into the next questions, and it's really beautiful. So you already told us now what the O-1 visa is, and what the requirements are, the different types of sectors where you can use the O-1 visa. So can you help us a little bit, go a little bit deeper into the requirements for O-1 visa?
Yeah. So and the USCIS has on their website a bunch of eligibility criteria or requirements. One of them is that you know you have to be nationally or internationally. You have to have received national or internationally recognized awards and prizes for excellence in that field. So these are kind of like the things that you can use to they are both the criteria and the kind of documents you can use to
To
support
support.
uh,
Okay.
your application. So if you have received national or international internationally recognized awards
Hmm.
for excellence in your field, uh, it's one of you meet one of the eligibility criteria.
Hmm.
Another one is membership in associations, but not just uh,
Any
membership.
association,
Not
yeah.
the membership where because you belong to that discipline, you can they give weight to associations where people are nominated because of their expertise to belong to that association. So your peers and international experts, they
Yes.
recognize your
They
work and
nominate
then
you,
they
yeah.
nominate you to be part like some special types of fellowships where is based on your impact in the field that you get nominated in. So they pay attention to that. Then uh, a similar criteria to the NIW is like if you have publications in the media about your work, So not your specific publications, but like articles that have been written about your contributions to the field, it could be videos, uh, what do you call it? Editors' writings about your work, interviews, all that stuff, and then
Yeah.
evidence that you have been judging the work of others. So like peer reviews, conference chairs, those kind of platforms that have given you an opportunity to judge the work of others. Because what that tells them is that at least you have some expertise to be able to judge the work of others, right? So, and then it
So,
come yes. Hmm.
I didn't mean to cut you short, but those things are on the USCIS website, right?
Right.
Let's now see some other things about the O-1 visa, especially because some people watching this video, they kind of know that what the requirement should be or how they meet the requirements. But what are the other perks of the O1 visa when you compare it to, say, H1B or an EB2 NIW? What do you think will be the pros and cons? So for one, I think it's really short. Like when they make the decision is really short. But so can you use from go from O1 visa to US green card? I just want you to give us like a general overview of
Yeah,
what the advantages will be for O1 visa compared to others.
right. So, so for the O1 visa, right? The O1 visa is a dual intent visa.
Hmm.
O1 is a dual intent category. So what that means is that it does not prevent you from applying for a green card. So that's a good thing, right? You can apply for the
Yeah.
O1 and have a green card petition. There's no it don't they don't it doesn't affect it in any way negatively, right? So that's
Okay.
good. Now O1 also has the advantage. The normal time is like normal processing time is anywhere between 2 to 3 months, maybe 1 month if it's let's say 45 days if things are really fast. But
Yeah.
45 days if things are really fast, but and you can say anywhere between 1 to 3 months on average is the time. Now,
Okay.
different sources may quote, some people quote 2 to 5 months as the normal time. I think what happens is that the processing time fluctuates with the caseload that the USCIS has for this O1 category.
Has.
So, so another reason why the O1 visa then becomes a better category is the processing time that is relatively short uh, because of it is less applied for than H1B and EB2
EB
NIW.
NIW.
Now,
Yeah.
the O1 visa is a work visa, so you when you compare it to NIW, it does not give you permanent residency. So it doesn't start if you want to be a permanent resident, it doesn't stack up with the EB2 NIW in that regard. But
Okay.
the O1 also has a premium processing time of 15 days. So that's a very good thing about it too. So you
Okay.
can apply for premium processing with the O1 visa and get a response within 15 days of applying. So that's a really good one, especially if you are pressed for time, like I was. Uh, like I said, I had to be off work for 2 weeks during my time when my STEM OPT expired before I head back on the O1 visa. And after I head back on the O1 visa, that it was approved, I had to wait to receive the approval notice in the mail before I could resume work. So one thing about the O1 is that it does not require you to receive an EAD like you would for an OPT.
Oh,
The
really?
approval notice is the work permit itself. So once you get the approval notice from the USCIS, you can resume work or take
Continue
a job,
working.
start work if if you are about to assume the office rather than resume. So um so that's that. So the fast premium processing and the fact that so when you compare H1B with O1, the H1B is a lottery, right? So it's a lottery system. Even if you qualify and you may
Doesn't
not
mean
get
you're
selected, right?
chosen.
And
Yeah.
like I gave an example of my case where 3 times I
Three
wasn't selected.
times.
That 3 times is 3 years in a row, in a row rather, of not being selected, right? So the O1 is based on merit. You put together your case and then you apply and you get this fast response time if you can pay up for premium processing. Even if you can't pay up for premium processing, but you have time to wait 1 to 3 months, you typically would get a response. So those are some of the perks of the O1. That you are not leaving it in the hands of a lottery. Compared to the
Yeah.
H1B. And then
Yeah, it really sounds good.
yeah, and then it stacks better than the EB2 in the sense of processing time. But
Yeah.
EB2 being the having the ability to give you a permanent residence always outranks the O1.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. I am learning a lot as well. I didn't know about these things. So the other one is when you get it and you get the permit, work permit to continue working or to start working with your employer, for how long do you have that?
Yeah.
Is it 5 years or 10 years?
3 years. So you get 3 years, and then it can be renewed indefinitely, but on an annual basis. So after the first 3 years, you can renew it on an annual basis indefinitely. There's no cap on when you can, like how many years you can renew it for, But when the first petition that is granted gives you approval to work for 3 years, and then
Okay.
you can renew on a year by year basis.
Okay.
As needed. You just need to put together some explanation on why you need to continue and then submit
Hmm.
some forms again.
Hmm.
One thing about the O1 is that it is employer specific to similar to the
Okay.
H1B. So if you do change employer, you need to notify the USCIS. So I think there's a case where you may need to refile it again, or you just need to file some forms. Depending, I think that may depend on how far off the job you will be doing is from the job that initially granted you the
Got
petition.
you that.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Oh my goodness. This is good information. Okay, so 3 years you can continue working, after which you renew every year if still with the same employer.
Yeah.
And if you change employers, you need to get inform the USCIS
Right.
to know if you need to apply again altogether. Okay, so I know this was done entirely by your employer and you might not be privy to some of the steps, but is there anything you can share with our listeners that would be the steps leading to submission and approval? So, if there's any name of form or anything that was putting just some information for
Yeah.
those that will be trying to encourage their employers to do this for them.
Yeah. So I think you know the form that you need to fill is what is called a form I-129,
Okay.
petition for non-immigrant worker. That's the form. So putting the
Okay.
case together is just find out if you meet the eligibility criteria and you have a strong case, and then
Yes.
get your supporting documents to actually put this case together. That would be the two key things. I don't like you have to the petition is going to lean on the supporting documents that show that you are eligible for that criteria and then the form. So if you want to talk to your employer about this, find out if they've done this before. If they have, they will understand the process. If the legal team has done this before, they will understand the
Okay.
process. If they've not done it, then you need to help them understand it. So first, you have to go and understand what it takes, the forms you need to fill, and the criteria.
Yes.
And then I would advise
Yes.
that you go to your employer with a detailed explanation of how you meet that criteria. At least
Yes.
you want to encourage them that this thing that I want you to do for me has a high chance of success. So explain to
Yeah.
them
Yeah.
what so you get a good grasp get a good grasp of what the criteria
Person.
is, and then have your own detailed explanation of how you meet that criteria when you are talking to your employer, trying to convince them to go this route for you, because they would have to spend some money to file this for you know, especially
Okay.
if you're going to go with the premium
Perfect.
processing. Yeah.
Yes, yes. It's been a pleasure having you on my Green Card Story channel. Thank you so much for all the tea that
Yeah.
you gave to us. So the final question will be, what was it like after you got your O1 visa? And for you, I know this will be like case specific, but for you, what was it like? What are the other things you've done since then? Are you still looking to renew it? Are you what has life been for you
Yeah.
after your O1 visa?
Yeah, so I actually had an adjustment of status that was pending with the USCIS at the time I applied for the O1 visa, and I so one thing I want to share also is that I tried to, instead of doing the O1, I tried to apply for expedited EAD based on my pending adjustment of status. I tried that 3 times too with the USCIS. It didn't work. So, so there is another thing. So if you have a pending adjustment of status and you've put in for an EAD, one thing you can do before filing the O1 visa is to try to apply for expedited request. I know someone that did that and it worked for him, but
Okay.
it just didn't work for me. So that's actually a simpler route than an O1 visa if you already have that pending adjustment of status uh,
Okay.
application with the EAD filed with it. Uh,
Okay.
and I think there is something where even if you've applied for your adjustment of status, but you didn't apply for EAD, but USCIS has received it, you can apply for the EAD at any time. So you can apply and ask them to expedite it if they will grant you the petition. But now back to the O1. So why did I bring this up? So because I had that application pending, uh, uh, 3 months after I received my O1 visa approval, this my uh, uh, green card or my permanent residency, my I-485 was approved, right? So and then I received my card in the mail a few weeks after, like less than 2 weeks after receiving the approval notice. So I only had to use the O1 visa for about 3.5 months ish.
Months.
Yeah, 3.5 months before receiving my permanent residency card in the mail. So the O1 then is just not useful anymore. So that's why I'm not looking to renew it or anything. But and that would have been what was it? So this right now we're about almost a year from that time actually. So I still have
Yes.
2 years
You would
left
have
on it.
still
If I
have
even if I
yeah,
was using it, I still have 2 years
two
left. Yeah.
years. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So it's
What was my
actually a very
last?
good. I think it's a good visa because that initial 3 years gives you a window to do many other things and find another status
Exactly.
that is more permanent, like a permanent residency. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Amali, for spending your time with us today and for giving us all of this information. I hope it's useful to our listeners and that when next we call you to share your story, you'll be willing to do so. So, any final words for our listeners
Yeah. I mean,
or
I think
those that are interested in O1 visa, basically?
right, right. Yeah, I think just try to gather the evidence. Most of this thing is all about just getting evidence that shows that you meet the criteria. So if you think you meet the criteria and you need this visa category to continue to remain legally in the US and pursue your dreams, I think it's a good one to go for. Yeah, so it's another opportunity that's getting a little more traction now, getting more popular. So H1B is becoming really tricky because of the number of applicants and the limited spots that are available. So this
Slots.
is a good way for those who have achieved some that have made significant contributions, achieved some expertise in their field. This is a way to go.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And to our listeners, please follow us on our social media handles at My Green Card Story, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And please subscribe to this channel and tell someone who might need this information even more than you do. Till next time, bye.